just a quick show of hands. Who here currently works at a tech company? Okay. All right. Okay, that's good. Good to know. Okay, so I'm Casper. I'm the COO and co-founder of a company called Financeit. I'm here to talk to you tonight about 3 lessons learned. Probably should be called 3 lessons learned the hard way as we've been building the business. But before we get into that, a little bit about here we go. A little bit about Financeit. So Financeit is a platform that helps businesses to increase their sales by allowing them to offer point-of-sale financing to their customers. We're very focused on small and medium-sized merchants who are doing big-ticket transactions. So think home improvement contractors or vehicle dealerships. And what we allow them to do is offer special promotions to their customers, like 0% financing, stuff like that. So as said before, Financeit launched in 2011. Since launch, we've acquired over 4,000 merchants who have processed over $1 billion in loan applications to date. We just closed our Series B equity raise with Goldman Sachs for an undisclosed amount. The only thing I can tell you is it's larger than our Series A. We have over 75 people on the team, and we're currently looking to hire about 16 more people. So check out our website if you're looking, financeit.io. So the first lesson I'm going to talk about tonight is figure out the why. And what this is why does your company exist? Why are you meaningful? Why are you different? And it touches everything, if you get this right, from product to strategy to who's your customer. So I'll give you an example. If someone was going to describe what does Apple do, they might say, Apple builds beautiful, easy-to-use consumer devices. Right? That's probably an accurate description. But there's more to it than that. The why, why does Apple exist, or why is Apple so successful, might sound something like, Apple exists to build devices to empower creative people to change the world and challenge the status quo. So it's powerful, it's aspirational, it inspires people. Figuring out the why is critical to helping you make better decisions as an organization. Helped us. It'll help you figure out what products to focus on, who's your customer, where to allocate resources, precious resources. And it'll help you know when to say no to certain things. Which brings me to my next lesson, focusing and saying no. So what this means for us is, when you're an early stage company, you're really just in survival mode. And it's very tempting to say yes to every single opportunity that comes your way. You're trying to build a business, you're trying to kind of prove your product market fit, you're trying to raise money, you're trying to convince investors that you're unique, that you're going to be this rocket ship that's going to the moon. You're trying to do all this stuff. So, as a result, you may end up saying yes to a bunch of stuff. The dangerous thing about that is you risk trying to become kind of everything to everyone. And as a result, you could end up not being good at anything, right? So for us, as we transitioned out of that survival stage, prove the company stage of the company, we've started to learn to say no to things as they've come up. And I know that Paul, our CTO, who's here tonight, and the tech team are very happy that we're starting to say no to stuff. Paul's raising hand. And also, saying no is very powerful, because saying no helps to align the organization so that everyone is rowing in the same direction, everyone's reading off the same page. So sales, product, operations, everyone are focused on accomplishing and solving the same problems. The last lesson I'm going to talk about today is building a performance culture. So building a performance culture, for me, I like to look at professional sports teams, right? They've got management, they've got coaches, they've got players. Every person who works on or plays for a professional sports team, they have a role, a clearly defined role. They have metrics that define their performance, and it's a competitive environment. People are vying for starting positions, people are getting sent back to the feeder leagues and stuff like that. One of the key aspects of building a performance culture is making sure everyone in the organization has a set of clearly defined objectives. And those objectives need to be transparent, they need to be measurable, they need to be attainable, right? And one of the keys of setting these objectives is making sure the employees themselves or people on the team are actually setting their own objectives. They're not being told this is what you're gonna do. They're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, right? And having those objectives line up with the kind of high level objectives of the organization is important. So what does an objective sound like? An objective might sound like, I'm gonna increase this metric by this much by this date, right? Simple stuff. And one of the things we did to help us get there is we hired a management coach, right? It was one of the best things we ever did. We brought in a professional coach, and we're going through that process now. So last slide, I want to finish the talk tonight by sharing one of my favorite quotes from Reid Hoffman, right? An entrepreneur is someone who jumps off a cliff and builds a plane on the way down. That's what it felt like for us and still feels like sometimes. All I can say is if this is the journey you're on or you're going to go down this path, be prepared for some massive pain and suffering, but also be prepared for some massive personal growth and potential rewards. So for those of you who haven't taken the jump, I hope you find your jump someday soon. Thank you for your time. Any questions from the audience? You. What's my name? My name's Casper Wong. Good question. Any other questions? Why us versus credit cards or bank financing? Good question. So it depends. It depends on the customer, right? We're focused on super prime customers, and the key to it is, if you're just comparing against a credit card, average APR is like 19%, right? So our average APR is around, call it 10%, 9 or 10%. So we cost less, but if it's just our cost of interest that's not compelling enough, our system actually allows the merchant, the business, to buy down the interest rate. So the business, and think about the auto industry, right? 1.9%, 0% financing, the don't pay a cent event. Our system is a sales enablement tool that allows merchants to pay a fee to offer financing offers that are very attractive. Most people in this room should use 0% financing. It's free money if it's available to them. And allows them to give it to their best customers to increase their sales. Sales financing, when used effectively, is a win-win for both the consumer and the merchant. Hey.
So when you were thinking about the why of your business and asking yourself those questions, what were you saying to yourself? How were you discovering it?
It's a great question. So the question is, when we were going through the why process ourselves, what were we asking ourselves? Or how do we get there? So we've gone through different iterations of our why, right? Our why in the first year, in the second year, and third year, and fourth year, they've all been different. At one point, we said, we just want to be like the third payment option next to cash and credit for every single business in the world. It sounded amazing when you're raising money, but again, Paul said you can't do that. So, we kind of went through a different process. We actually, we just went really deep on our core customer. Right? Like we kind of said, we're going to focus on a specific merchant set that look a certain way. We're not going to go super big. We're not going to go super small. We like home improvement contractors, like vehicle dealerships. And then when we looked at how they were using it, we figured out this is more than just a payment or consumer financing. We looked at the auto kind of vertical as an example. 90% of cars are put on a finance program or leased. And we used that as our kind of example to take that kind of learning and bring it down to the midfield or the green field, if you will. We also looked at how big box enterprise companies are doing it today, Best Buy, PayPal, that kind of stuff. All right, thank you.